Welcome to Journey with Nicole. Rejection started young. I grew up in an environment where my parents were navigating their own stresses, and I was, by nature, an observant and curious child. I was often aware of the complex dynamics around me. I heard the conversations and understood, even at a young age, the source of the pain and disconnection they were living through. I had a very clear view of their struggle, yet I still felt the impact of their emotional unavailability. From my vantage point, their inability to hold space for me felt intentional, which planted a quiet, early seed of belief. I am not accepted. I am not loved. I was a very thin child, and I craved physical affection. I wanted to be cuddled and doted on. But I remember the constant refrain, "Get down. Your bones are cutting a hole in my leg." Once that phrase became a reoccurring theme, it created a boundary that made me feel like my need for closeness was a burden. At the time, I interpreted it as a rejection of me, though as an adult, I can see it was likely just their own discomfort with vulnerability. When I eventually started expressing my own thoughts and opinions, they were often met with a sense of disappointment, a painful, unintended echo of a time when I was just the good girl. I think about the burden I carried even as a child. I couldn't have been more than 6 years old when I overheard a volatile argument between my mother and grandmother. I went into my room, and in the only way a 6-year-old knows how to fix a broken world, I wrote a letter to my grandfather. I wished for his passing, believing that if he were gone, it would bring my family peace. I even drew a stamp in the corner. We lived on a busy highway, and I was not allowed to cross it alone. But that letter felt like a mission of mercy. I risked crossing that road just to get it to the mailbox. When my dad found it later, it wasn't seen as an act of protection. It was seen as a transgression. I got into trouble, and I was told that I couldn't speak to adults like that. I was trying to save my family, but I was left feeling angry, dismissed, and completely unimportant. To a child, the solution seemed so simple. Remove the source of the conflict and the family would be whole. But it didn't work. Rejection didn't end with my parents. It became a pattern that followed me everywhere. Through peers, teachers, and even within my extended family. because I was constantly being pushed away, I adopted a hardened exterior to protect the damaged child within, who just wanted to be seen, heard, and accepted. As a result, love became a complicated, confusing concept. I didn't understand why love so often carried a sting. And I knew deep down that I wanted it to be different. Yet in my search for validation, I looked in all the wrong places. I became a magnet for people who were looking to harm, almost as if I were a target. The worst part was that I eventually grew complacent. I accepted that this treatment must be my own fault. I believed that if I could just be enough, if I could just be better, different, or more, I would finally earn the true love that I was starving for. At school, I was never seen unless I acted out. I learned early that negative attention was better than no attention at all. I wasn't considered pretty, cool, or in with my classmates. I was an outsider. My family wasn't from the area, and these kids had been together since before preschool. By the time I arrived in the 4th grade, I had no place in my family and no place in my school. I desperately tried to fit in, but the nice, quiet Nicole wasn't enough. So I morphed. I became who I thought they wanted. I started swearing, telling dirty jokes, and spinning tall tales about a life I wished I had lived. They liked that girl. She got their attention. But the cost was losing who I was created to be. My path from God became further away, and the feeling of depression only deepened. I began smoking cigarettes as a form of defiance. My mother would often warn me, if you keep smoking, you'll get cancer and die. I remember thinking, good. I felt so disconnected from my own worth that I became the opposite of what they wanted. Angry, rebellious, and defined by pain. They don't love me? Fine. I'll give them someone they really won't appreciate. Depression whispered that I was unlovable, unlikable, unintelligent, ugly, and unwanted. I believed every word because the actions of the people I valued confirmed the narrative. My mind felt like it had been taken over. I went through therapists, medication, and even hospitalization, wondering, will there ever be a way out? I learned at too young of an age that I could get attention from men by using my body. This slowly robbed me of me. With every encounter, I gave a piece of myself away in exchange for a piece of someone else. No wonder I felt empty. I was a shell, filled with the remnants of men who had used me. In a healthy relationship, you share, fill, and protect one another. That is what I wanted. But I had gotten so lost. Eventually, anger and resentment moved me into a place of vengeance. No one will ever take from me again. I built walls and shut down. But in doing so, I closed off any hope of experiencing the very things I so desperately wanted. At 53, I realized that this world is designed to keep you from your purpose, to label you so you forget who you are. For a long time, I believed that this poison had run too deep, that the damage was too great, and that there was no hope for me. But God said otherwise. He called me by name. I was so clouded by pain and harmful words that healing once seemed impossible. But through faith and my relationship with Jesus, I've learned the truth. First and foremost, I am a child of God. Jesus was sent for me so that I would not have to suffer. I am perfectly created in the image of my Creator. And I am unconditionally loved in spite of all of the crap I was filled with. Some days are better than others. But every day, I nurture my relationship with my Lord and Savior. Humans are flawed, but my God is intentional, and He is good. As it says in Psalms 147:3, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And I am living proof of that today. Thank you for listening. Journey with Nicole.